down, yelling out money, anything. Ayy, ooh, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when I'm getting to the bag. Ayy, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast. Ayy, ayy, let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss. Ayy.
Hey guys, before we jump into the episode, I wanted to let you know it is brought to you by the NMFTA. Let me ask you a question. Do you ship LTL freight? Then listen up, because the NMFC changes went live on July 19th, and they're the biggest updates in the history of freight classification. Now more than ever, accuracy matters. That's why carriers, shippers, and brokers alike are turning to Class IT Plus, the NMFTA's new digital platform for real-time NMFC data. Stop guessing, start classifying smarter, and quote freight with confidence. It's time to get your ship together because the NMFC changes are already here. Learn more at nmfcchanges.com and get started with Class IT Plus at classitplus.com. Just do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve. So you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. We are live, TIA Capital Ideas Conference. It's not 10:30 Central like it normally is today, because people have day jobs, you guys. And like I always say, I only speak with transportation professionals. So we're going to get this out a little bit later today. But I'm joined by my friend, Kary Jablonski. Kary, it's been a long time since you've been on the show. Yeah. I think the last time you were on is when you just took over as CEO for Trucker Tools.
I think that's right. I think you were the first podcast I went on. That must have been April 2022. So for at least 4 years ago.
It has been. And
wow.
So much has changed out there. And I mean, now you're with DAT. And can you, what is is it DAT powered by Trucker Tools powered by DAT? What is that?
Great question. So it's Trucker Tools, a DAT product right now. We went on a bit of a acquisition spree last year at DAT. We've obviously got DAT1, DAT IQ, Trucker Tools now. We've got Outgo, our financial services platform for carriers and brokers, and Convoy platform.
Yeah.
It's a lot of brands.
For
so
sure.
Little, heads up to the market. We're going to be working through simplifying that over time to help our customers just understand how they can get the most value out of what we do. So for now, still Trucker Tools, still doing our thing, but very much a part of DAT.
Yeah. Your marketing and PR team is going to be very busy here, I think, over the next couple of months.
Definitely.
So here we are, we're live. What was it like interviewing Brian Urlacher? I got to admit, like, I don't like the Chicago Bears at all.
Cardinals fan?
No, it's Dallas Cowboys fan. And I think that I know a lot of friends of mine that are Chicago Bears fans, and they keep talking about 1985 out there. And what was it like being around a guy who succeeded at the highest level of their profession?
Yeah. I mean, he was so easy to talk to, which, I guess is not surprising, but it really struck me just how humble and down to earth he is. And you could imagine how that is really inspiring to a teammate who's kind of just starting out, trying to, figure out how to grow his own career. So it was great. You can just tell he referenced preparation so many times, and how, every time we came back to, what helped you stand out, what made you great. It was just the preparation that he put in before Sunday was, set him up for success. And it just has me thinking about how that relates to all of our lives. And it's what we're doing when the lights aren't shining brightly that is going to determine what happens.
Yeah. I think most people think that they shouldn't ever practice what they're doing outside of working hours, right? Like I look at, because I do a lot of sales, and I practice my pitch. Like I'd say a lot, Kary. I look like an absolute psychopath. If somebody followed me with a camera, the amount I talk to myself and like recite my pitch all the time, it is because like it's so rare that you get a prospect on the phone. You have to not miss, right? So it's like for me to go out there and be prepared to know exactly what I'm going to say, rehearse those conversations. I think it's a major miss by a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a regular in the bathroom, just staring at myself in the mirror and talking, and like getting in my own head and working through it and remembering how to relax. I totally agree. You've got to do the reps and put in the work.
So speaking of putting in the work, bringing over trucker tools into DAT now and seeing with where, a lot of things are in the market from an automation standpoint, what was one of those things once you guys got fully integrated into the DAT system, you were like, why didn't we think of this sooner for this product?
Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting. We talk a lot about the evolution that DAT is going through, being like going from Craigslist to Amazon.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, DAT is a Craigslist style product, or it has been a Craigslist style product, where an incredible tool to find capacity, find carriers, obviously. But you got to do everything else outside of the platform. And that just creates such friction. We call it the manual tax. It really just adds up. And it causes, the exhibit hall here to have all of these additional vendors for brokers to layer on and figure out, how do I just drive efficiency and not spend as much time kind of logging on to DAT, working in an old school manual way. So we've just seen this incredible kind of, I hate to use the word synergy, but you're finding a load, or you're posting a load, you find capacity off the board, then everything has to happen off the board from there. And by integrating trucker tools into DAT, we're able to actually kind of kickstart some of that process automatically. It's literally saving customers tons and tons of time. And it's also this really beautiful loop where when we track a load with trucker tools, we learn about the carrier's preferences, where they like to run, what they like to do, and then we can actually feed that back in and make it a better experience for them on the board. So it's really going from being a kind of a point solution, both trucker tools and DAT, to being this more platform where it not only makes it less full of friction and having to go offline, be manual, but also we have this benefit of kind of improving the quality of the platform. There's so much data in both of them. We can make it an easier, better experience for brokers and carriers.
I think what you guys are doing, I'll call it a roll up from an outside looking in. You guys are getting ahead of where the inevitable goal line is going, and that's one-stop shop platforms. Because I look at, I'm a capitalist. Everybody's got to make money out there, but like, at what point does your automation cost more than it's worth for your operation?
Yeah.
And then, as because again, like, prices are what they are, but like, if there's a way to do it for less out there, people are going to naturally gravitate towards that. So the fact that you guys have built an entire suite of services out there is, to me, is like, you guys are getting a couple of years ahead of the curve, because that's going to be like, I think a lot of brokers, we'll talk current market, are missing the mark, Kary, in the fact that their margins are going to be compressed in this next swing. Like, they're not going to name your price, just get us a truck. I think a lot of people think COVID 2.0 is going to happen. It's not. That was a black swan event. If that happens again, our economy probably will tank as a whole, and we might bankrupt as a country if something like that happens, right? So it's like, with where things are and what you guys are doing and matching up everything and building it out, that is going to be the demand. Because it's like, okay, why would I pay 6 vendors $8,000, hypothetical example, $8,000 each? None of the systems talk. I'm using 8 separate programs, as opposed to this platform that everything is integrated. It's already into my TMS, and it's a one-stop shop.
Right. I mean, you just nailed it. Exactly. And you're talking about TMS integrations too. That has been such a focus for us over the last couple of years, and continues to be. We've got a ton of meetings on site here with great partners, because that is where the work happens. And we need to be where our customers are. Your UX can be nice and pretty and everything, but you got to be in the workflow, and that's where it's all happening. For us, it's all about simplifying. All of these systems should be talking. They should learn from one another, all of these kind of point solutions. And we need to make it easy for carriers to find freight. We need to make it easier for brokers to feel good about who they're working with.
Yeah, no, I know. And to me, it's like, with where things are trending, I don't look at where things are right now, because there's a lot of the way it's always been done going on in the market, but I look at like where things are trending. And, for me, it's like, I want to, as soon as that load is booked, I want it as hands off as possible, right? Like, yes, that communication aspect is always going to be there, but I want that to be like 5% of my time, and I truly feel that like 95% of my day should be automated, Kary, as a broker, except for that 5% when carriers need something or when my customers need something or when I'm selling. But it's like, I look at it, how do I automate as much behind the scenes to where my customers know exactly what's going on? Because like, I have great relationships with my customers. You know what they don't want? To talk to me on the phone every single day about every little thing. They want to go about their day. So it's like, how do we build that ecosystem up to where it's like they are updated? If it is a hot shipment where their customers asking, hey, where's this delivery at? If you work with us, we let everybody know. But anyways, this isn't a sales pitch for me. I look at with what you guys have done with Trucker Tools. Your product to me is as efficient as I've ever seen out there. And the fact that, because we don't just pick up in major metropolitan areas, we're in rural areas of the country where traditional tracking doesn't work. And then our customers like, where's our driver at? What's going on here? The driver's not answering because they don't have cell phone service at that exact moment. But now we're getting updates that are coming through. We're like being able to send them screenshots, email them. And then that's one thing that I would love more of is like, how do I set it up to where like my customer can get updated every 2 hours, say it's like an in-transit thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the kind words. We put a ton of work into the product over the last couple of years, and it really started, we really, really doubled down on tracking and visibility, probably around mid 22, and decided to go harder. And the concept that has motivated us is one of proactive exception management, because I think Jeff Silver said a broker's job is to manage risk. And I think it's to manage risk. And one of the ways you manage risk is you anticipate, and you're able to anticipate, what does my customer need? What might happen with this load? What might go wrong? So everything we've been building on the product is to be able to get data in the hands of brokers before they actually need it, so they can build that anticipatory stance when they might need to adjust. They might need to let a customer know about something, and make that all so much easier than having to go digging for it.
Yeah, that is, because to me, it's like, one thing I always like to say is I use all of my advertisers' products in my business, right? So it's like, I'm not like, I'm an active customer and I'm an active user of all of this stuff. And it's like where I see DAT, their leg up on everything is, for me, it's like, I do have that one-stop shop. I have the confidence in the pricing that's coming along with it, with the visibility and aspect of it, because like, that's the, customers have never like came out and directly asked like, what is your tracking? Like, what does that look like? They are more like, you better update us on everything. And when we reach out, so again, what you had just said there, like, I need to manage risk, i.e. I need to communicate with my customers all the time with where stuff is, right? Especially in like leading up to pickup. Because I always like to say, like, as a broker, that's all I do really controlling the entire transaction is letting my customer know where the truck is at up to pickup. As soon as that load picks up, I am pretty much at the risk of weather, traffic, driver having a bad day, whatever it is. 99% of the time, none of this stuff happens. But, like from that point is, but like, again, my ability to communicate never goes away from that. And then I don't want to have to call a driver 4 times a day, 5 times a day. They don't want to talk to me. I want them to drive. And it's like, that's where that visibility aspect of it comes in, where it's like, I can let my customer know, hey, the driver's here for the night. They're parked. Everything's good. Send them an update in the morning where I'm not wearing the driver out. And I think like that's where the real advantage comes with what you guys have in Trucker Tools. And then again, that automation piece of it, where they don't want to talk to me on the phone. Most of my customers, they want to hear from me when something's not going according to plan.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's really interesting in this automation AI moment we're in. We are empowered with so much more data, but it's actually making it, I think the goal is actually not to dump all of that in one place, is to make everything simpler for our customers and reduce the number of touch points in a positive way, where you're only talking when you have value to add or an update to provide, as opposed to just kind of throwing it all over the fence at a customer.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I feel like with automation in particular, a lot of individuals are going to buy it and not use it. And it's just going to sit on their shelf per se, or they're going to try and force it upon their customers or their carriers that don't actually need it or want it.
Well, that exactly is also been something we talk about a ton, which is meeting our customers where they are and working through change management with them. It's so easy to, sit here and say, oh yeah, of course you'll adopt automation and you'll go from making check calls to never making check calls again. Getting into the shop and actually sitting down with your people or with your drivers and helping them understand how this is helpful for them, that it's not here to take their job. It's actually here to free them up to do things differently. It is a real like human effort to make that happen. That is not something that you can outsource to an email or anything. You have to kind of be in the weeds and help people work through that change and start to see how it benefits them and what it means for them.
How do you guys approach developing new products when every broker is kind of unique in their own right, in the sense of like, they're not all the same size. All their customers don't have the same requirements. So how are you guys attacking new product development? And then especially anticipating, is this even going to be relevant by the time it's developed?
Yeah, that is such a great question, because we have, I mean, DAT literally has hundreds of thousands of customers. Tens of thousands on the broker side, hundreds of thousands on the carrier side. So we do always have to be thinking about what is a product that could be universally adopted and beneficial, but customizable enough so every broker can kind of tweak it to their own SOPs. So it's kind of a constant battle we're working through. And it's interesting. We're talking a lot about automation, but something else we're also starting to talk a lot about DAT is this concept of control and kind of management and being able to tweak dials where needed. So the current way, I'll talk about our carrier management suite, for example. It's a product that we're developing right now, which allows brokers to bring vetting into the load board and then manage their carrier networks within the load board post-load. So it's only visible to carriers that Walmart said that you can use or carriers that have a certain amount of insurance coverage. The concept is one of, we're going to give you the tools so that then you can start making the decisions. We don't want to actually enforce anything for you. We want to make a product that is as highly configurable as possible for you to then add your own flair on top of, your own rule set on top of, so you can tweak the dials. We want to put the control in your hand.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of the way we're doing it.
So I got a lot with what you just said there, Kary. So do you think though, because, obviously carrier, fraud, double brokering, cyber, all of this is all hitting the market at the exact same time. With what you're describing there is I think like having that closed freight network is like the way that things are going to have to be here soon. And then again, from a driver's perspective, they need to, I don't want to say they need to understand this, but like they need, like the faster they can prove that they are who they say they are, the more lucrative freight that they're going to get. So it's like, I look at that, and what you're describing there is like carriers who are out there who are utilizing DAT and then having that, whether it's a verified badge or whatever they got to do to show you're not fraud. Like I think that there's a gold rush coming their way.
So we got two things there. One is on within Trucker Tools, our tracking product. We just launched a feature called Proactive Driver Verification, which is before a load even goes to pickup, you send a text via our platform, all integrated into your TMS, to the driver. They have to you can enforce whatever rule set you want. They have to send a selfie. They have to send a photo of their CDL. They have to send a photo in front of their truck. And you only then automatically move to assigning the load to them once you've received that. So like driver verification, big time. And then within our Convoy platform, which I know you're talking to Bill about, we have this incredible, one of the things that was really interesting to us about Convoy platform last summer when we bought it was they have this incredible fraud detection platform that we call Carve internally. It's this really advanced rules engine that is constantly looking at not just carriers, but actually drivers and understanding the kind of building a graph, a proprietary graph of what is happening across the entire country in the freight markets, identifying patterns of bad actors. Like really, really impressive stuff. It's ingesting a ton of proprietary data, external data from government sources. And it has, the Convoy platform network is definitely one of, we've got a really high standard for the carriers that are in there. They're really kind of high quality, safe, secure, performance managed carriers. And it's something that it allows us to feel really, really secure about the freight that brokers are booking via Convoy platform to the tune of a fraud rate of less than 0.01% or something, close to over 1 million loads booked. So these different, we've got the fungible kind of tool and proactive driver verification where it's use it however you want. But then we, with Trucker Tools and put that in the hands of brokers. But then we've also got this, we're building up this really, really secure network with this technology we've been building and buying to be able to add that extra layer of verification, because we see that we have the benefit as the central network of seeing so much carrier activity that no broker could see themselves. So as we start to kind of aggregate all of that, we can help brokers feel really secure about the carriers they're working with.
How are you guys, now the inverse of that, how are you guys ensuring that the carriers who are searching for freight on there, the brokers that are actually utilizing that are legit, right? Because I think like that's one thing that, when it comes down to double brokering, the good carriers that are out there who are hauling the freight, they're the ones who are footing the bill more often than not, right? So it's like, what are those assurances now that, like, if I'm a carrier out there and I'm out there searching for freight on DAT, that broker who's going to be tendering it over isn't fraudulent, it pays their bills, all of that stuff?
Yeah, great question. This is something we spent a lot of time on over the last couple of years, and just continue to improve our onboarding verification process for brokers. A couple of specifics. One is we recently introduced, or not recently, actually, this is probably 2 years ago now, federated login or single sign-on. We find that brokers are most frequently compromised through phishing. So it's actually not something, this isn't to pass the blame, but it's not something that DAT controls. It's a broker, innocently enough, gets an email, and it's, as opposed to, at thefreightcoach.com, it's at LHE freightcoach.com. It's a one letter change. They click something, their password is compromised, and you log in at DAT, post loads. What we've introduced is a way, so single sign-on happens through a single unified kind of experience for the entire brokerage. So it's a way to basically take all of that out of emails and really federate the process. So there's no password. You're never actually entering a password. It's a much more secure process than that. So doing things like that just give brokers tools to not get phished, frankly, is really has been a big step in the right direction. Another thing we did is we bought a financial services platform last summer called Outgo, and it's an incredible carrier factoring. We've got rate match guarantee right now. It's just been really, really great. The concept is smart factoring and bringing tech into factoring. A lot of factoring is kind of a little bit older school. So just helping carriers, they're finding jobs on DAT, and now they can get paid using DAT. It's carrier side right now, but we underwrite brokers as a result, because we need to give carriers assurance that this broker, when they're looking to haul a load, is one they can work with. So we have this incredible additional kind of view on the broker industry now through our underwriting process. And we're able to see, which brokers are really standing in good health and help carriers feel really confident through, we have a black check mark on our load board that they're going to get paid by brokers.
Do you think, you might not even be able to answer this, I don't know if there would be any like liability for DAT. So you just say next question if you can. Do you think we're going to get to a day and an age where there's going to be preferred providers and they're going to be like, hey, broker A backed by DAT, check mark style thing. And then same thing with carriers, like, hey, we vetted them as well, backed by DAT, you're going to want to book these guys?
Absolutely. I mean, in some ways, that's what our black check mark is today. It's kind of the early innings of that. Something else we talk about is, carriers use DAT to find jobs. And how can we help them advertise what they can do to brokers so it's easier for each other to find, or it's easier for brokers and carriers to find one another? And that, back to the carrier management suite that we're releasing, it's all about understanding what can carriers do, how much insurance do they have, what sort of equipment do they have, do they have a certain number of inspections, and making that really easy for them to show off on the platform and for brokers to then be able to search and find them by those qualities, because it's going to make, it's going to facilitate that match so much more easily. So I was talking about the Carve Convoy vetting engine that we have that is continuously running in the background to really, really secure the network. That is something that you can imagine we continue to scale, and really there's a badge on your profile as a carrier that says highly secure vetted carrier backed by DAT. You're going to feel very different if you have confidence in that system booking at that load as a broker.
Do you think that that's going to be the expectation here sooner than later? Like,
absolutely.
Because again, like, obviously there's a lot of stuff going on in DC right now at a level that I've never personally seen in the entirety of my life. And one thing that I want more than ever is the right providers taken care of. I'm sick and tired of seeing good people go out of business because of fraudulent actors who are able to operate ghost networks behind the scenes, reincarnate all of that stuff. And I think, like, again, it's not your job per se to like stop all of that. I think that that's a federal thing. They need to be doing a better job out there. But I think like the faster we can have that ecosystem of like across the board, no, these guys are legit. They pay their bills on time, they pay their carriers, or this carrier's on-time performance is whatever they employ. But I think that there's a system where that works, where it's like we can highlight the right providers to keep the right people in business, because I think enough of quality providers operating at a high level is the biggest deterrent to fraud and the bad actors out there, because there will be no tolerance for it. If they're like, why would I even risk going outside of my network if I'm a shipper, if I have all of these guys who are vetted by the highest standards that are out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. I mean, ultimately it's a regulation issue and an enforcement issue, but our job is to support our customers, brokers, carriers, shippers, all of them. So anything we can do to help, makes transactions more secure is absolutely something we're dedicated to.
Yeah, no, I love it. Kary, thank you so much for your time. You got a bunch of stuff going on today. But no, truly, I got to say this, Trucker Tools was like my literal first advertiser on this show. So it's like 5 years ago is when they came on. And the fact that I use it now in my, in multiple businesses of mine, it's just like, I don't know, it's full circle moment. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you as well. So thank you for having us and for letting us partner with you on the show. It's awesome.
No, this is great. Thank you so much. But that is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the show, you guys. And if you're feeling ambitious, rank it on iTunes and Spotify, because if you see value, your network's going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang, window down, yelling out money, anything. Ayy, ooh, got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when I'm getting